Hi, everyone. Hi, Riri and Diane. You're here already? Uh, yes, this is Shirley from Shirley's World, Shirley's World Vlog. And I'm on here every Sunday at 4 o'clock to report on how many items I sold on eBay and Poshmark and any other place that I would possibly sell. I'm a reseller. I get my clothes from thrift shops. Right now, I can't go to any garage sales, which I go to very few anymore, or I have to buy them online and have things mailed to me. But yeah, I'm actually trying to reduce my inventory, so I'm not putting on a huge amount of listings every day. When I do have things to put on, I limit it to put on about 3 things a day. So I'm only listing 3 to 4 things a day. And then I also put them onto Poshmark after I list them on eBay. A lot of times I'll just do sell similar, end listings on eBay and do sell similar. So it gives them different inventory numbers. And sometimes I repair the listings, make it look a little different. Hi, Jane. Yes, but it's probably because I'm not listing a whole lot, but I don't plan on listing a whole lot. So my inventory, the price I'm getting on things, the number of things I'm selling just keeps going down, down, down. So that's why I'm wondering, at my age, hi Bumblebee, I'm wondering if it's just worth it or not. Because it is a source of irritation to me when I don't sell things. I shouldn't even, it shouldn't even bother me. I mean, I'm not actually living on this money, but it does come in handy to make a little bit extra. You're on the crazy laptop. Well, I'm glad you can talk to us now. Is your puppy sleeping? My puppy's sleeping over there. She always follows me in here most of the time and goes right to her little bed there. I have one of these circle, these soft, fluffy beds. I have like 3 of them in different places. Bumblebee says, I take any offer to get. I get 90% of the time. You take any. I just took a low offer on Poshmark because I didn't hardly sell. Well, I sold one thing on Poshmark all last week. No, she's not sleeping. Have you all heard about the Goodwill selling on whatnot? I heard something about it. I haven't listened to that one. I think Rockstar Flipper, didn't he have something about that on? I haven't watched that one. Yeah, if that's the one, he was pretty disgusted. So I'll have to go watch it. Donna's here. Hi, Donna. Bumblebee says she's spring-loaded. That's funny. Uh, Seems a bit greedy. Well, I think Goodwill is getting greedy. The prices. This is the first time this past week when I went into Goodwill, or was it last week? Time all just runs together with me. Whenever I went into Goodwill, I noticed this time. I noticed the prices being higher. And for a while, my Goodwill here in Medina County was one of the lowest uh, priced Goodwills. So I guess they're going to catch up. Relist your posh items and raise the prices. Hmm. Okay. I was just about to go on today and do some, well, today is one of the days you can go on and lower prices, and then they pay shipping. Isn't this one of those days? They have these days more and more often, I'm noticing. They know that resellers are shopping. Yeah, right. There's a new live selling place. If anybody watches Commonwealth Flipper or Commonwealth, you know, any of his programs, you'll know that there's a new one out called Dibdit. Dibdit? Is that what it is? It's so hard for me to remember. Didbit or Dibbit dit. Something like that. It's a new live selling place. And yes, a lot of resellers go buy on there. It is mostly items that for collectors, those type of items. It includes like hats and t-shirts because collectors, those are collector items too. But a lot of little toys, all kinds of, things, collectors. So I looked on a little bit today because Commonwealth Flipper was talking about it. But every time I have a really bad week, like the last couple weeks, especially this week, I often just really think about advertising someplace, maybe Facebook Marketplace, because it has to be somebody that's in the area to just buy my whole entire inventory. I'll tell you, today or the last few days this week, if I would have somebody that would come here and buy out my entire inventory, not the bins, because the bins are probably would sell more than all the clothes and things. The bins sell pretty good on eBay. But and I do have all the lids and everything. What lids aren't on here, they're stored in the basement. Well, if resellers are shopping, maybe it's a good time for me to see what I could possibly get for all this inventory. The reason I would want to do that, I have written out on 2 cards here. One is why I should give up reselling. And there's many listed on here. And there's only 4 listed on why I should keep reselling. But number 1 is a pretty big thing. So after I show you what I sold, how this week went, I'm going to show you tell you what's on these cards, what I've been thinking about. Does eBay help with that request, a store buyout? No, I don't think so. I'm not going to ship all this stuff. It has to be somebody that comes here and picks the stuff up and gives me a fair price. I don't expect to get much, but it can't be practically nothing. Maybe do research on Google, but those 4 will outweigh the longer list, right? Maybe. Well, we'll see. I'll let you decide if they do or don't. Do a marketplace, local. Yeah. If I had enough energy, I would just get on one of these live selling things and just start selling my stuff on these live ones. But I would need another person to help me, and which I don't have. And, there's no one that would do it. And yeah, I think I would maybe be able to at least get my inventory way down doing that. There are professionals who do this. Yeah, and then you also have to pay them. Do you practically then get nothing? Or, I don't know. I haven't looked into it at all, but this is just the first thinking of it. But let me share my screen and show you what I did sell this week. It's not going to take very long. And then we'll come back and talk about this. Bet your daughter could get those items sold her store and split money with you. She doesn't want to. I've asked her. I asked her if she would want just to come over and get these things and sell them in her store. She is so exhausted after working. Now she works 8 hours a day, every day, and she goes in 2 hours early. So she's actually working 10 hours a day to get the overtime. She can either do overtime that way or she can give up one of her days off. And she's choosing to work extra every single day. So I don't think she has enough energy to do eBay too. So let me share my screen and show you this fiasco of the week. All right, this is eBay. I sold 7 things on eBay and 1 thing on Poshmark all week. So the first thing I sold was this Victoria's Secret pink. That's not what color it is. It's pink. See along the bottom line it says pink. That's one of their brands within Victoria's Secret. No wire, padded bra in a size medium. Just black and white color. It sold for a low price of $9.09, which was a best offer. Or no, that was a sale that I put on. One of my big sales. So that sold, and it went to Hollywood, Florida, not California. The next thing is Nanette Lepore black stretch pull-on pants. These were sort of dress type pants. They weren't like stretch pants, like exercise pants. These were new with tags in a size 14. And they sold for $20.99 in a 30% off sale. And they went to someplace in Maryland. I sold a tie, men's classic silk tie from the men's store in Bloomingdale's. It's navy and white stripe, red and white. It's navy, red, and white. And it sold for an offer I sent out for $8.77, and somebody bought it. And it's going to someplace in Georgia. This is a pure Jill sweater, women's. It was a mixture of merino wool and cashmere, and this sold for $19.54. It was an international sale. It was like a tunic. This was a long tunic length sweater in a 15% off sale. Next is another J. Jill item. This is linen, slip-on brown V-neck lagan look boxy top with sort of a ruffly 3/4 sleeve. And this sold for $19.54 in the 15% off sale. And this went to someplace in Massachusetts. The next two items were bought by the same person, but they bought them at different times, so they weren't bundled. I mean, I could have stuck this tie in the next item, but she bought them at separate times. So another tie. I sold a Tommy Hilfiger silk tie. I have a million ties up there. And yeah, and I always put them on sale. This went for $8.77, an offer I sent out, and it sold. And this person lives in Massachusetts, and she's a repeat seller also. She bought this, and she bought these Franco Sarto loafers. These are women's shoes, size 8. They're trouser pants shoes. And yeah, these sold for $24.64 in the 15% off sale. Okay, that is all I sold on eBay. The one Anthropologie that I sold was this Sparrow. That's the brand name, but it's an Anthropologie brand. I've had this a long time. It's a cardigan sweater. It's wool, and it also has some mohair in it. So this sold for $19. I started this out being much higher priced when I got this, but then kept lowering the price, and it sold for $19. And I netted $15.20. And this went to East Chicago, Illinois. So I want to show you this little thing of how much I actually made. Now you wonder why I think about whether this is worth it or not. Of course, it is the first of that last sale was on the 1st. So that means that this counts. They took my store, when they counted this whole week up, they took my store fee out. So it wasn't bad enough that I only grossed $167.34. But they took selling costs, which includes $60 out is the store fee. I can't change stores till December because I bought it like for the year. So you pay by the month, you get it much cheaper if you sign up for the year, which I always did, which was okay for a while. But now I want to go to the one right under that, the basic store, I think it is. Yeah. So it won't be as much per month. I will I think I will buy it though and pay per month instead of buy the whole year. I know I'll pay more, but I don't like this that you can't get out of the contract, you know, until your thing comes up. So, anyway, I actually netted for that whole week on eBay $34.19. Yeah. Now, the average selling price of my things on eBay wasn't bad, $23.91. I'm always between $21, $22, and $25, usually, always. So basically, that's it. So let me come back and of course, Poshmark was easy to figure out because I only sold one thing. So it was $19. So my average selling price is $19. Why is it so dark in here? Let me turn this little light on. Okay. So when you add everything together, the total net of both platforms, $49.39. But then I have to take cost of goods out. Another $28 comes out of that. So I actually made all week $21.39. That almost won't get you a big meal at McDonald's anymore. Now, I haven't gone to McDonald's lately, but who was it? Burger King. He was talking about Burger King, Commonwealth Flipper, because I watch him so much. He says him and his young son went to Burger King and it cost him $22. That's what made me think of that. Yeah, of course, it's two people, and the kid probably eats a lot, and so does he, but, anyway. There's no more dollar something hamburgers at McDonald's. Last time I was at McDonald's, I got a fish sandwich, a small fry, and a chocolate milkshake, and it cost me close to $12. So that's pretty sad. So at least it paid for my store fee. At least it paid for your store fee you have to pay. Debbie, yeah. Well, I'm always thinking this whole past year, I've been thinking on and off about quitting. I wish they'd do that as a separate charge, not off your sales. I know. Well, I pay it per month, but they happen to collect it. Yeah, they collect it at the very first of the month, each month. Oh dear, Bumblebee's losing battery power. Can't you plug it in? We'll watch on phone, and she can't comment then. Okay. Yeah. So that was my sad week of things. I have a list here, like I said before, why I should give up reselling and why I should not give up reselling. So let me tell you things that make me think I should quit reselling. Now, the reason I put that thumbnail on was because I actually did have a horrible headache earlier today, but wasn't actually from eBay. It was because when I watch my television in the daytime and it's bright outside, the TV is up against the window and I'm getting all this glare. So, yeah, I shouldn't watch television in the daytime. I need to get a curtain or some shades or something for that one window. Anyway, I digress. The big reason I would like not to have all this stuff here, I'd like to have my house back. I'd like to have my house back like when we bought the house and I decorated it. And this room used to be a beautiful room. It had bookcases all over, not just that one in behind me. And we called it the library. It had a couch and a big chair and a big chest in front of the couch. The fireplace, which is behind that wall of bins over there. It was just a really nice room. It didn't have a TV, and this was a room that you would go to read or, you know. And then this happened. Happened very slowly to start, and then it just picked up steam, and I just was buying like crazy. So then it snuck into the room that used to be my craft room back there. And then I decided, well, I'd hang things. I'd hang anything that could get on a hanger that was sort of long, and I didn't want to put in a bag because everything is bagged up like this. So if I got a dress, I would hang it on a hanger, and all the hanging items are upstairs. So that then took over one of the bedrooms upstairs. So then you can't put a blazer, and I also used to sell men's suits too. I don't anymore, but like blazers or jackets or winter things, that's all on hangers upstairs. So then it took over 2 bedrooms. Now, it can't take any more because the 3rd bedroom's mine. So, yeah. You think I'd miss reselling? Probably. I'd still be able to go shopping. I'd just go shopping for myself, which maybe wouldn't be so good. But that's number one reason. I'd like to have my house back because it has now crept into what used to be the parlor. That's where my photography is now. So, yeah. One big thing is because I've just done this is I wouldn't have to keep track of stuff for taxes. My regular tax stuff is just bank stuff and it comes in the mail and I have a meeting with my tax guy. In fact, that's tomorrow. And that's my regular life tax stuff. And that's not hard at all. It's this stuff. You have to keep track of everything. You have to write everything down. I have, accounting books that I keep track of everything. You have to keep track of your mileage. You have to keep track of, everything you sell, everything you buy. And it's just a pain in the rear end. And I hate it. Now, I have gotten it together a little earlier this year. In fact, I talked to my tax guy on the phone yesterday to make sure he's still with us because he's the same age as me. And we were talking on the phone. He says, yeah, he's still doing about 17 people. And most of them are widows of, people that he knew or police people, like my husband and him. They were really good friends. He used to be a policeman too. So he's still doing it. So I'm still sending it down to Florida for him to do, even though I really worry to mail all this stuff. I send it priority for him to get it. And then what if that would get lost? I have copies, but still, wow, that's scary. Yes, they are a pain. But yeah, that's I wouldn't have to keep track and worry about that every year. It would just be regular taxes, and that I really don't worry about. Uh, I could put more time into actually trying to make something out of YouTube. Now, that may not ever come to fruition because that requires a little get up and go too on my part. Some days I just don't feel like doing that. Uh, I'd have to get a lot more ideas of things to do. And unless your videos really take off, there's only a small percentage of people that make a decent amount of money on YouTube. You hear about them because those are the ones making the money. You don't hear about all the ones, the millions of people that do this and don't make anything. You know, I've been doing YouTube seriously for a couple of years now, and I've made $200. So, yeah. So, I could put time and energy. I'd have more time to do fun things. Now, not that I spend a huge amount of time doing eBay anymore. Now, I used to, but not so much anymore. So this really just doesn't really count. But look I'd like to have more time to do my puzzles. That was sort of a funny thing, not really. I have a puzzle going now that is very hard, and then I have two standing, waiting in the boxes to do after this one. I could learn new things. You know, I like learning things. And one of the things I could learn is more about YouTube. I could learn more about gardening. I could learn more about the birds. I really enjoy the birds. I could do more Bible study, do more, learn a lot more about Bible study. I could do YouTube about Bible study. And I wouldn't have this terrible feeling of failure every single week or every single month about selling on these platforms. Because, of course, you read about people doing so well, and I'm sure they're doing a whole lot more than I'm doing, though. Vibes guy. Hi, I don't think I've seen you here before. Harry's here too. Harry Humstone. Hi. You're eating sub sandwiches. Yes, this is live vibes guy. Things could pick up with it being summer. That's what they say all the time. They say that things are going to pick up in the summer, things are going to pick up in the fall, and fourth quarter's coming. It's going to be wonderful. It hasn't been wonderful for the last 3 years, at least for a lot of us, you know. I wouldn't have known it was fourth quarter last year at all. You're not a failure. Money is just tight for a lot of people. I think that is the problem. I believe that's a problem too. Was it yesterday? They had that economy day. Is that what they called it? The economy day? Nobody was supposed to buy anything. Thank you. So I didn't sell anything yesterday. Or was it? Yeah, it was yesterday. It was the first. Yeah, yesterday. I didn't sell a thing on eBay, but I did sell something on Poshmark that day. That was the one thing I sold. I mean, they don't have to, people aren't buying things anyway, so why put that out there? So I'm just not I'm just not excited about doing it anymore. That's another big thing. I think the two biggest things are that I'm just not excited about doing it anymore. I'm just tired of it. And I want my house back. That's the thing about not being excited about it. That's why I would like to switch from clothes, which I'm really bored with doing clothes. And if I could do more of the hard goods in with it, it would be more funner. But I can't seem to even know what to buy because I haven't, you know, you have to know what to buy because I don't want to have shelves and shelves of junk and that not sell either. Okay, reasons for keep on trudging on and keep reselling. Even though it's a little bit of money now, it's still a little bit of money. And it still does help a little bit. Maybe not this past week, but on a monthly basis. I usually make, I don't know, between $500 and $800 in a month net. So it's something, you know, because I can't live on, I don't want to live on what I have in the bank. And you can't live on Social Security, at least where I live, and with my $500 a month oil bill. So it does help a little bit. So there's that. It's a little extra money. The other things, not so much. Fellowship with other resellers. Now this is YouTube. Now I know a lot of people are resellers that visit, but if I decide to do something else, I think you'd all stick with me. At least my group that I have here, that's here every single, twice a week. I know you'd probably stick with me. Yes, don't spend money in protest. You are not I've had success selling arts and crafts on Etsy. I don't make much selling on eBay. I've often thought about Etsy. Believe me, one of the things I've been hunting for the couple times I've gone thrifting, which I don't go that much anymore, is anything crafty. Things that are unopened, like needlepoint or, you know what I mean, anything craft. It can even be kids' crafts. And it's hard to, I don't know if other resellers are buying it up early in the morning or if mine just don't have it, but I haven't been able to find any. You'd stay. If it helps with bills, then you would keep on doing it. I know. Julia Bozan. I've had success. Oh, that's the one with the arts and crafts. Julia, I don't remember seeing your name on here. Well, welcome. Maybe you're just, maybe you're on in the background. Diane votes for staying. I do get I do get a feeling of accomplishment if I do ever have a decent week. Or if I sell something and they haven't, lowballed me down to practically nothing. Our country is in a new state. Who knows what is coming? That's true. It's scary, isn't it? I don't know what is going on. Mm. Sometimes I'm thankful I'm 82, if you know what I mean. Ah, I feel sorry for younger people because I don't know what's going to happen. It's frightening. That's why I'm hoping for the rapture. Now, if you're younger and don't know Christ, you can't do that. But if you're younger and do know God, yes, you can do that too. Uh, yeah, a lot of talk about the rapture, about the end of the world. If I stopped selling, I would miss the dopamine rush from the cha-ching. Well, Brylan, do you get a cha-ching on your phone? I used to. I don't get the cha-ching anymore. I have tried everything on my phone. Sometimes you get it. I haven't gotten it for like 3 years. And I don't know why it stopped. I really like that too. But I don't know. It's not all the time for you. I don't know. I've tried to fix it. I've asked everybody how you get it back, and nobody can tell me exactly what to do. I went in and looked inside. I mean, went to my, where you fiddle around with your settings and everything, and there's nothing I've done to turn it off, and there's no way to turn it on. So I don't know. There's some people get it all the time. Maybe check that your eBay notifications is allowed on your phone. I will check that. I'm sure I have checked that, but I'll check it again. Riri, people are holding on to their money right now. You've stopped so much shopping and decide to save more during these times. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it's a scary time. I'm sure a lot of people are hanging on to their money too, but you'd think that I'm sure that's why a lot of stores are closing. People aren't buying retail. But you'd think that they would buy then, secondhand. You'd think that they'd buy on these platforms more. Do I get notifications from eBay at all? I get notifications only when I look under eBay under notifications. I don't get an email. Poshmark sends me an email when I get something. Now, that always made me nervous because what if I somehow accidentally erased one of my emails and it was Poshmark sale? How would I know I sold that unless I'd go on solds and I'd see it? I don't do that very often. So the only way I have to look myself on eBay, on my eBay, for the notifications, and then I see what I sold. But yeah, my ka-ching is kaput. Uh, so I wrote down here when I was getting my taxes together. On eBay, I netted this this is what I netted after selling costs and everything. $6,889. $6,889. And on Poshmark, I netted $4,682. So like 11, I think I wrote it out to be like close to $11,500 for the year. That's what I made for the whole year. Now that's 11,000 more than I'd have if I didn't sell. And I can't, at 82, there's not too many things you can do to make money. I can't go out. I can't even get a job at Walmart anymore. I don't think I wouldn't ever do that, but I don't even like to go in Walmart to shop. But I don't think anybody's hiring 82-year-olds. I don't feel confident in my mind anymore to get a job other than, for myself. Barlin says, don't quit on a bad week. Quit on a great week, and you will know you really want to quit. That's very true, Barlin. You sell a lot of fun everything. You sell a whole mishmash of things that I think would be a lot more fun to buy and sell than it is just, I am bored with clothes, but it's what I know. And when I go into the last few times I've gone into Goodwill, I intend on just looking at hard goods, but then I can't decide on anything. I don't know what to buy. And so I just go to the clothes because at least I know a little bit about them. I know what I sell, You keep saying that. I sell from your house. I'm trying to empty it out before you move in 5 to 10 years. Oh my. You must have I know you have a huge house. You must have a lot of stuff because you sell pretty good. Tech support, phone company. I'm too tired to have to actually be someplace at a certain time. Yeah. That's why only working for me is the only thing that would work anymore. You did buy a good bit of stuff preparing for retirement about 5 years ago. I'm getting through all of that death pile. Okay. You're still working on your death pile. That's one thing I never had. I don't know why. Even when I would get great big boxes of stuff, a couple times I bought huge thread-up boxes. And it would take me like 3 weeks to get through it. I would work on that box until I got it done. I didn't let it, put it off someplace and forget about it. I never had, and most people that sell have these death piles. I never had that. I would run out of stuff. I think that's why Bumblebee started sending me a box here and there. We had, I don't know if she shopped with her or not. Or if it was just me. I was buying boxes from another girl that had really nice things. And She stopped all of a sudden. She was in a bad car accident, and then she stopped doing it, like, flat out stopped. So, we never sort of knew what happened to her, and, I don't know if Bumblebee bought from her too, but then Bumblebee decided that she'd try and do it for me by, because she's a Poshmark seller, and then that worked really good because Bumblebee's a great picker. She's getting a box ready. It should be ready. She was ironing and steaming, and then she got the puppy. Puppy comes first, for sure. Uh, well, that was my predicament, but I think everybody wants me to keep on trudging on here for a while and see what happens. Bumblebee said to raise my prices on Poshmark. Maybe I've lowered them too much. I think I am. When I look at Poshmark prices that people put on, I do have a lot of lower prices than most people. But why aren't I selling a whole bunch then? See, I'm afraid once you lower your prices, and this is the same on eBay. I think once you lower prices and people see that you take low prices and you take, you're like sunk. Uh, I don't know. But I took a low offer, like I said, today on Poshmark just because it was something I've had for a while. Nobody else was offering anything on it, so I took the offer. So that's one sale I have going into next week. So let's just hope it gets a little bit better. I'd like to have a reason to go thrifting. I mean, after all, that's the fun part of doing this, right? Even though my energy is at an all-time low, I could still work myself up into going shopping once in a while. Uh, so that's my conundrum. And I will look up about the ka-ching thing. And I'm afraid to mention on Facebook Marketplace anything about selling out my whole inventory. I mean, I could just do it and see what happens and see if there is any interest and what the going rate is. I don't know. Oh, Brylan, I wanted to ask you something. You're a gardener. I have all the things downstairs ready to do my winter. It's going to be spring. Do my winter sowing in those jugs and put it out, in the cold. I should have done this in January. Now it's 1st of March, 2nd of March. But I read that not to use your jugs over again unless you sterilize them. I sterilize them? What do they mean sterilize them? I think they'd melt if I put them in the dishwasher. And I don't know, maybe if I just pour some alcohol around on them or spray with Clorox. Oh, okay. Spray with Clorox and rinse them off then and then use them. You don't do it though? Do your seeds come up in your jugs or in your containers? It says that nothing will grow. Maybe for tomatoes. Well, I wouldn't plant tomato seeds anyway. I buy the plants. Oh, they come up. Maybe I just won't pay any attention. I could spray them with the Clorox. I do have that. Yeah, I have a shorter season. I buy there's several plants I buy that I'm not going to do seeds, but a few things I do from seed and I got really good results, like some flowers, especially certain flowers. So, yeah. So maybe I'll try to get that done this week. I was going to go to the dollar store tomorrow. I have an appointment with my bank guy at noontime, and then I'm going to the dollar store. I should film that. Flowers grow in cracks in the concrete. It'll be fine. That's true. I never thought of that. Uh, so I'm going to go to the dollar store. Actually, I'm going there to buy a couple cookie sheets because they're $1.25. Because I need two or three. I could use even four. I could use some containers. I need some more places to divide my puzzle parts on this big puzzle. I have them divided into four lids of, different lids, and that's still not enough for this puzzle. I need at least a couple more places to divide colors and things. So that's why I'm going there. But I'm also want to buy some bigger clear containers if I couldn't use the jugs. Because with the containers, if they have the lids, I wouldn't have to do the taping and all that stuff. My cat is begging for food. Ah, can you hear her? Meow. Meow. Ah. So I'll close for now. I'll be back. Hopefully, I will do some sort of a recorded video this week. And I'll be back on Thursday evening at 7. Thank you all for your input. And you have a great week, everybody. Be good, be blessed. God is good. Bye.